a regimen. And the regimen should be realistic. It should be attainable. It should be attainable for you, your lifestyle, your hair goals. You can factor in stuff like the environment, your activity levels. I would say that hair really should be cleansed every 7 to 10 days. So you don't want to pass every 2 weeks.
Right.
If you do pass it, the first thing you want to do is like use a clarifying shampoo. So this shampoo here from Alike Naturals, this is an example of a clarifying shampoo. Even though it's moisturizing, the black soap has a lot of lather and it's going to really lift the buildup off of your scalp. I wanted to highlight this one also because it's a local option out of St. Croix, and this is like clarifying and cleansing in one. You don't really see that in cleansers. But this one here, it has in Amunu and this sea moss that's gonna be very hydrating. You wanna look at your bottles. The ingredients is what makes up the formula. So this is water based. And then it has that Amunu, which is cleansing and moisturizing. Then we love that we're seeing the aloe vera and we're seeing some sea moss in this formula.
Nice.
So this could be something that you cleanse with and still have a little moisture balance, you know? So a little 2-in-1 action, a little clarifying and moisturizing. And then I highlighted this because this would be what I'm suggesting for you as your moisturizing shampoo.
Okay.
It's from Camille Rose Naturals, and I love how this shampoo makes the scalp feel without stripping the hair. The ginger in this formula, it's gonna just give you a good cleanse.
That like you vitalize.
Yes, it's gonna prepare you for conditioning.
Nice.
Before we even talk about the cleansers, you and I previously talked about using something that's detangling, that has a lot of slip. You know when you're detangling your hair, you don't want detangle on dry hair. I, for one, could speak on not using a detangler and seeing a lot of hair on the floor, and it was unnecessary hair to be coming out the hair.
Gotcha.
So this, it has a lot of slip, and it is everybody with hair. This is your go-to. You could detangle with this. You could put it on your hair as your pre-shampoo treatment. And pre-shampoo treatments are good because it allows for you to have moisture retention throughout the week, especially now when you get into like porosities. If you have like high porosity hair and you do pre-shampoo treatments, it also helps with like protein loss. Well, that's for any hair type. It helps with protein loss. It helps with moisture retention. And that manageability and slip when you're washing on the wash day.
Okay.
So you want to pre-poo to prepare your hair. You've detangled, you've pre-pooed, and then you wash with your moisturizing shampoo. And then we want to turn around after that and we want to deep condition.
Okay.
So this Camille Rose Algae Renew Deep Conditioner, I like that it's medium bodied. It's not light, it's not heavy.
Okay.
So it's a nice body where when you start, and I always suggest starting from the ends to the roots. Your ends is the oldest part of your hair. It's the part that's thirsty for the most moisture, and it's the part that you need to spend a little extra time on. So with your hair being sectioned, take the conditioner and go from the ends and work it the way up. When you use something like a pre-shampoo treatment and a detangler that has so much slip,
right,
and you already use a moisturizing shampoo, you're able to glide through this even with your fingers. That's how much slip you have because you prepared the hair for that.
Beautiful.
Now I do like this detangling brush from Felicia Leatherwood because it does a good job of defining your curls and detangling your hair. So I always suggest using your fingers as much as possible.
Okay.
But when I get to where I've applied the deep conditioner, I do like in sections to go in with the detangling brush, define the curls, detangle whatever hair my fingers didn't get a chance to, and then I'm twisting the hair, and I like to deep condition with heat. Because when you deep condition with heat, it allows the formula to better penetrate into the hair shaft.
Okay,
so
nice.
we have these deep conditioning caps that we call like hot heads. And we have them for children and adults.
Okay, nice.
And you could put on a plastic cap and you have this and you get a good deep conditioning experience.
Okay.
So after you deep condition, it's gonna prepare you for styling. So let's say for your style, you wanted to do mini twists. And that's why you want rock for the week, which is a good way to just have a protective style that is not too much urine in your hair every day. It's a nice in and out kind of, it's attainable for the week.
Right.
So I recommend working on wet hair because the products better penetrate in the hair when it's wet. And this Dare Mama Moisture Milk, This is nice and light for your hair, and it's very hydrating. But the same style, the same pre-shampoo detangler that we talked about earlier, it could still be used as a moisturizer. So you could mix these two together and then seal with a little bit of oil. We want to seal in this, I call the place Hot Thomas because it's the hottest I ever experienced in Thomas. So in Hot Thomas, y'all, you want to seal the moisture after you've moisturized. You want to put an oil to lock in that moisture, an oil or a butter, because when you don't, the moisture gonna evaporate out of your hair and into the air, and then you're gonna say how the product saying work, la 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 la. But it's just that we didn't layer and seal like how we want to. So now when we talk about sealing, there's penetrating oils and there's protecting oils. So sometimes you'll hear people say, oh, I put coconut oil on my hair and they do nothing, because coconut oil is a penetrating oil and it wants to penetrate into the hair shaft. So a good way to use that is prior to washing. Even that pre-shampoo treatment I talk about, you can use that with fresh aloe. Those are you DIY folks. You know, some of us like me just want something formulated, but you could use aloe and coconut oil, and that's a good pre-shampoo treatment, and that could be an alternative to having something like this. I like to do both, actually. I like to save this for when I don't have time to pick in aloe and all of that. You know, it gets a bit much. But you want in sections, you want to spray your hair and let that water penetrate into the hair shaft. Then you want to add like your leave-in or your moisturizer. In your case, it would be these. And for you, I would seal with a light oil. You know, we have a lovely oil bar in this store. We feature sweet almond oil, and that's a light-bodied oil. It has zeolic acid. It leads to moisture retention. I also want to point out this one because this is another light oil. It has in grapeseed oil, but it has in honey, and honey is a humectant and it's moisturizing and conditioning. So this one, you gain a little hydration from that honey in the formula. And I just wanted you to feel how this will feel, and then, you know, you kind of have your regimen. Remember that your hair has a moisture cycle. So even when we suggesting a style like this where you would twist and your hair is already contained, you want to be able to rehydrate the hair throughout the week because the hair does have a moisture cycle. And we don't want to go back to the creams because they're just going to be messy. You know, it's going to stay in between the twist. So with a twisted style, you just want a light. Something light that's just going to penetrate into the hair shaft. I have two options for you. And the two of them are local. Love that. So this young lady, she's out of St. Croix, and this is a moisture mist. Very lightweight ingredients. It's water-based. It has in rose water. We like rose water because of the acidity. It has in vegetable glycerin. Vegetable glycerin is a humectant. It's going to pull the moisture out of the air and in your hair when it's dry. And then it has some lavender oil and rosemary oil in here, which is still, you know, so this is a good blend that you can spray on your scalp and spray on your hair. And but just making sure that we seal in the moisture. Gonna show you another local alternative to the same way of lightly moisturizing once you have your style for the week. And so this brand is called Lock by Gem. This brand is called Gems Holistic. So Gems, you know, you can't go bad with any of them. This is water-based, but I love how she has that ingredient amunu that we talked about earlier. It has in aloe juice, it has in rose water, some lavender water, but I love how this has in like nettle and rosemary, horsetail and peppermint, and those are good ingredients for scalp health. So you just want to be consistent in anything you decide to do. You know, we here at Miss Naturalista, which you could have natural hair, you could have locks, you could have relaxed textured hair. Once you are alive and you have hair, we have products that could take care of you. But I would tell everybody, have a regimen and try to be consistent because that's where it's going to thrive. So try to have a relationship where you're understanding how your hair takes to moisture. You know, what do you want? How do you want to show up? And just go from there.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Not fashionista, naturalista.
Yes, Miss
Naturalista. The #1 natural hair store in the Virgin Islands.